Hey guys, what's going on? This is Badfish here with another episode of Gone Gaming. Welcome back to the beautiful city of San Pedro. If you're new to my channel, welcome first of all, but San Pedro is my realistic Cities Skylines playthrough based heavily off West Coast American cities. So I just want to go through what today is going to be for you guys in this little live play. I want to talk about what we're trying to achieve here today, and it's an important episode. It really is, because I realize I messed up. I messed up real bad, and all my sims, every one of them, all 20,000 that live on this map, they're all depressed. And that's because they can't buy any alcohol. I realized I have this whole island. You can see it in the distance here. Let's go scroll to it. I have this whole island of casinos right here, all these casinos, but not one brewery on the entire map. So all those people are gambling sober, which everybody knows is no fun because you realize you're making bad decisions. So what I want to do, I said at the end of last episode, I do want to connect this through to this highway, and I want to put a little town here. But today we're going to start the layout of the town, kinda, but that's not the main point. Today we are building a brewery. A very important brewery for this map, so everybody can be happy. So that's the plan, guys. We're gonna jump into a time lapse as it starts to get pitch black on the screen here, so good timing. So yeah, we're gonna jump into a time lapse, get things built up, build ourselves a good old brewery so our sims can have some brewskis. So we're gonna jump into the time lapse, guys. I hope you enjoy it. So like I said, to start out with, I did want to switch around the road network over here. So I wanted to make it so it leads right into a kind of town off the bat. I didn't want to have to try to mess around or screw around with putting in a bunch of different like exits and stuff. So I just popped in a roundabout, called it a day, because I wanted to get moving on to the brewery as quickly as possible. So you will see me just put down like a very base layout of like what I want the town to look like. Again, subject to change. It's not the most unique or interesting road setup, so it definitely could change around at some point in the future when we decide to tackle this spot. I don't even know if it'll be the next episode that we tackle this spot, if I come up with any other ideas for like main projects, but maybe we'll build out the town next. So now I am going to start getting to work on the brewery proper. So I use these smaller roads just because I felt like the normal size ones, sometimes the like normal 2-lane ones are just, they seem gigantic and I can't abide by it. So I put in these like normal size littler ones, and now I'm using what's called the modular factory pack off the workshop. It's like one of the first hits if you go to most popular in industry. And I'm using that just to build out a brewery. So you are gonna notice kind of two different themes for what the brewery buildings look like. That is intentional. So my idea was, a lot of beer companies have been in business for a long time. Everybody needs beer. We all need that brewski every now and then. So I wanted to have like the old factory. So maybe this was the factory that was built up in like early 1900s or something. They never tore it down. Maybe it's now mostly used for tours and things, but they can still, make beer in it. And then on the other side, eventually I will add a newer facility. So maybe that's more the newer production. Who knows? But that's just kind of my idea behind putting those two buildings in. I really like this modular pack though. It makes it super easy to build like some unique looking factories and things. Like none of these are actual brewery assets. Like this is just me going off the dome, trying to figure out like what could look good, what could look like a brewery. And as far as my real life inspiration, there's actually a Budweiser plant up here in New England in Merrimack, New Hampshire. That's absolutely massive. It's kind of interesting because it's in like this small town in the middle of New Hampshire, and then it's just this giant, absolutely massive Budweiser factory. I've been to it a few times. I always found it interesting. So I wanted to kind of follow that roadmap. So I'm going to add a couple different things. It's not just going to be a brewery, just like the Budweiser plant is not just a brewery. They have like a beer garden and shops and things like that. So I do end up adding in some different shops and things just to make it a little bit more interesting than just having a big industrial zone. So here is the start of the beer gardens. I got this is an asset off the workshop. I think it's just called Biergarten. So I'm using those as like my little restaurants, drinking areas, but then I did want to put more or less a park in here as well. So the park is, in my idea, where people go once they get their drinks. You know, maybe they stay at the beer garden if they're having food and stuff, but if you just got a couple beers, you want to go do something outside, you know, see some pretty views and things. So I think that ends up looking really nice by the end of this. You guys be the judge of that, I suppose. You know, let me know what you think. I'd like to knock a few back in there, so probably get a little too drunk, can't drive home. But hey, that's why we don't have any public transport in San Pedro, so gotta fix that up. Now that we have drinkers, we gotta make sure that we have some public transport so that way they can actually get home. So that'll probably be the next episode. That will be the battle in that one. So now I'm just adding in these tanks and stuff and putting some piping in my brain. Those are like where the beer is stored, the beer tanks and things like that. And then I am gonna fence all of this in. So the Merrimack brewery that I was talking about, that has a fence all the way around it. So I wanted to put a fence all the way around mine, and then I kind of double layer it so I have the actual factory part fenced in even more, while the regular like beer garden and stuff, like the place for visitors to go to, is in kind of the first section. And then right now you're gonna see me, I know it looks kind of funky, but I'm adding just footpaths along the fence itself. I do this for no other reason than I hate when I zoom out and the draw distance gets rid of my fences. I'm like, why did I even put those down? You know, like why are they even there? So I put those down so when you do scroll out, you can still see there's like a semblance of the area kind of sketched out. There is a semblance of the fencing sketched out, and that's why I did that. So I did turn this beer garden into an actual park. I did that just because I wanted people to utilize it. I wanted to have Sims walking through it and visiting it. So I make it actually very pretty, I think. Personally, we actually only use vanilla park assets. I do use different assets for the decorations that I have off the workshop, but like for the actual park buildings, I just put like down some gazebos and things like that just to liven it up and give people like a cool place to kind of walk around. I'm not expecting this park to be like the best park ever. I mean, I just created a national park in my last episode. That was the best park ever, so I'm not even trying to touch that. And then I'm throwing in some of these different buildings here just to add like a little shopping area next to the beer garden. So, you know, if people want souvenirs, growlers, things of that nature to take home with them, they have that ability to do so. And then I just add like a bunch of different neon signs. One that just says free beer a bunch of time, one that says liquor. I know that one's not attached to anything. I promise I fixed that in a little bit, so there's actually an attachment there. And one thing you will notice about this brewery, it's not really branded for one particular beer. That's because I don't have enough different signs for one particular beer. So they do all beers. They have all the different beers, everything you could want. It's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but for adults and with presumably less murder, because let's be real, Willy Wonka killed those children. Anyway, we're moving on, adding in some different trees and bushes and things. This is gonna end up being like a really cool green area. We end up putting like a cool centerpiece on it as well. And then, like I said, I'm just adding like some gazebos, park information, some bathrooms so people actually utilize the park. So there's actually things to do inside of it. I just used the red gazebos because I felt like they went well with the beer gardens themselves. The roofs kind of matched and everything. I thought it looked nice. And now I wanted to put, like I said, a centerpiece to the beer garden. So I put down this really cool fountain I got off the workshop that actually is animated. So it does like cool little water spouts and spits and things like that. And then just leafed it in, just propped it in with some bushes and things. I know this is like the second time I've done a roundabout like this, but to be honest with you, I think all roundabouts should have cool stuff in the middle. Like nothing makes me more angry than when I'm driving and I get in a roundabout and it's just grass. Like, why is it just grass? You have this whole, like, middle part that people have to drive around. Why don't you put some cool stuff there? But, you know, our governments don't care about us. It's fine. So now just some palm trees, because it wouldn't be San Pedro without some palm trees popped in. I think they look nice. I'm really trying not to overdo it with the palm trees, guys. I know my office park was a bit excessive. I like trees. I think they're neat, but it was a bit excessive. So I'm trying to cool it with the trees. I'm trying to do it a little more sparsed out. Right here, I know I'm a little thick with the blue gum trees, but I tried to delete a few, sparse it out a little bit. I'm getting better, guys. I'm healing, I promise. Just give me time. It can't all happen overnight. So trying to do a little more sparse tree work instead of just having absolute jungles in the middle of my urban areas. But this, you know, it is a little bit more green because, again, this is the Biergarten. This is this big-ass brewery saying, all right, we need to have, like, a cool space for people to go drink. We want people to visit here. We want people to tour the old factory. We got to do more than just have a couple industrial buildings. So you be the judge. I think the Biergarten turned out good. And then I do just add some quays here just so I get rid of that flooding issue and it looks a little more uniform, especially, again, industrial area. You want to kind of have the riverbanks hemmed in a little bit. And now I'm just going to go through and do kind of my heavy industrial detailing. First of all, that Pabst Blue Ribbon sign, you're going to see that in, like, the live play at the end of this and in the cinematic. It's awesome when it's lit up. So that is, I guess this is technically a PBR brewery since I have two gigantic PBR signs. But again, we also have some Budweiser signs and things like that. But you only know that if you scroll in, so it's fine. And now just adding like a little cargo park, so that way they have trucks coming in and out that need to pick up beer, need to do deliveries. They got a place to park and chill out. So putting in like a little cargo yard, a little, I'm trying to get these to look like neat and on the same level. It turned out okay. Again, I really need to see if there's like actual parking lines that I could utilize rather than trying to just mess around with these highway lines. Like, it works, but it's not perfect. And then, like I said, just adding some trucks. I didn't realize, for some reason, I don't know what's going on in that area, but there was a lot of clipping. And one of the trucks, like, ended up on my quay, on my key, whatever the heck it is. It, like, ended up in the middle of it, and I was shooting the cinematics at the end of, for the end of the episode. And I shot, like, 4 or 5, and then on the 5th one, I noticed that there's just this 18-wheeler sitting, like, halfway in the river. And I was like, oh, that's not what you want. So I had to delete all those and, try again. And then right here, just adding like a little office. So maybe this is the guy who's in charge of getting all the trucks loaded. So he chills over here when, you know, he's not busy loading things up. Put like a little table and chairs, moved it over there so that I had a place to sit. A couple porta potties, you know, just adding kind of like superfluous details, convenient details, like the porta potties and things. That's all about the convenience for your Sims. And then popping in that damage. If you've watched like my first few industrial episodes, I went very overboard with these decals. I think I'm getting better. I try not to use, like, I'm trying not to blanket decal because I would like to actually have props left when we get into further builds on this. But I am trying to calm it down a little bit. And then I'm just putting in these parking lots. There is going to be some clipping on these lots, guys. I didn't change it for one simple reason, and that is, for some reason, once you put these down, you cannot grip them without gripping the entire parking lot. So you got to delete the whole parking lot to try again. And at this point, I was a few hours into this build, and I was like, not going to happen. Not today. Not today, Satan. So, you know, just left the clipping. Honestly, as long as I don't scroll in and stare at it, it won't bother me that much. And then just making the entrance to the brewery a little more grand, a little prettier. Again, you know, I wanted this area to be very pretty. I didn't want to overdo it because it's obviously still an industrial area. So, like, at the end of this, I realized that those bushes are overdoing it. Take them out. And, you know, I wanted it to be nice. So the Biergarten is really nice, really green, really pretty. While the industrial side, you know, has a little green space, but, you know, it's mostly concrete. And then here I'm just adding some employee parking for the shops. Probably use too nice of cars for this, like, weird employee parking lot, but whatever. They all drive Teslas. And then just popping in some trash and stuff in the back corner, some more cracks, and just trying to liven it up, make it look realistic, add some different details. And here I'm adding a little pillar to make sure that liquor sign could actually stay up. And finally, the last little bit of detailing I'm going to do is just some more landscaping. I cut in the actual beer garden a little more. I do add like these kegs. I mean, they're water barrels, but they're kegs. They're kegs today. So that's where they load the kegs. But yeah, I am going to just edge in the beer garden a little bit after I add in the water to this area so they stop screaming at me. They're like, Badfish, we have no water or power. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm making beer. So yeah, we're just going to edge this in to end off the time lapse, add some more trees, make it look a little more green around the beer garden, a little more pretty so people actually want to go get hammered in there and never leave. And that is going to just about do it for this time lapse, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the build. We're going to jump into a live play at the end here just to kind of talk through the whole entire build of the brewery, what parts I liked and what parts I didn't like. There actually wasn't really much I didn't like about this. I thought it turned out pretty good. So we're going to jump into that at the end of this. I'll go ahead and let the music play you out to end this off. But again, hope you enjoyed. Alright guys, that's going to conclude our time-lapse build. I hope you enjoyed what we put together. I know my Sims will, because now they can actually purchase alcohol. So I'm going to just take you through a quick live play just to kind of scroll through what we already made. I realize this lighting is great for cinematics, but not quite for regular viewing. So let's put it back into the middle of the day. So let's start from the very beginning. We got this nice little entryway here with Officer Stoneface. Oh, Officer No Face. You will stand here because you have no faces. Anyway, Officer No Face is chilling over there. We got our cool PBR sign. So I guess this is a PBR brewery, more or less. I do put like some Budweiser signs and stuff. That's because I ran out of beer signs. But this is kind of the entrance. This is what it looks like from the road. You can see all the smokestacks and cool stuff. You can see the city in the background. So as we go in, this is just like the little beginning of our park and beer garden here. So I probably talked about this in the time lapse, but I did base this off the Budweiser in Merrimack, New Hampshire. And they have like a cool beer garden. I did add like this cool little park as well, just so people, they grab their brewski, they can go walk around, chill out, look at some pretty stuff, check out this cool fountain, have a wonderful frickin' time. That's the plan for my Sims. And I like these little beer gardens. I think they're neat. And then this was just like, I threw down some stuff. Cold beer, cold beer, cold beer. Woo! So basically this is just like a little shop. Maybe they sell like growlers and like merchandise. Who knows? And then going into here, we have our absolutely massive parking lots, which are empty at the moment. That will probably change. That should change once we actually... Ooh, what are you delivering? We don't need wood here, sir. This isn't that kind of industry. Anyway, that should start filling up once we actually build out this town, which I think in the next couple of episodes, that's going to be the plan. This road network, I don't know what I was doing, but it's chilling, it's looking good. And then we are going to have to figure out a way to connect it up to the highway up here. But for now, it's connecting, through our national park over here, connecting over there towards these areas and etc. All that good stuff. And then just going in, kind of a little grand-ish entrance right here. And then this to me is the main brewery right here. So this is the main brew house. This is just like some warehousing and obviously like to pack up the trucks and stuff. You have a little area right here so they can bring beer out. Same thing, these are just little warehouses and junk. And then all of these are for oil technically, or maybe it was the nuclear plant, don't remember. But they hold beer now. So these are our tanks of beer. This is massive tanks of beer. Stupidly large. But we got a lot of beer we gotta supply, considering there's no other breweries in this entire map. So they supply all of this! Anyway. It looks good. I like using the piping to have that kind of cut through and, you know, make it look like it connected through from this kind of old school brewery into here. And then this over here, my idea was like, maybe this brewery's been around for a long time. So you got this old school, you know, built early 1900s, who knows, brewery over here. And then the more modern, you know, equipment. Maybe there's more than one beer brand coming out of here. Maybe it's all the same. That's up to you. And then these cars, these are just oil trucks, but I like to think of them as giant beer tankers that are gonna go fill up all the world's beer. So that is basically this build, guys. I hope you liked it. I thought it was a little unique, something different to try out. I enjoy the way it turned out. I like having, you know, these kind of cool spots, because, you know, this is something that kind of came straight off the dome. It's not something that typically is built in the game. It doesn't come with the game. It's just, you know, using your imagination. So I really enjoy these kind of builds. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. If you did, leave a like down below. I really appreciate that. It lets me know that people are enjoying what I'm doing. If you want to see more Cities Skylines, be sure to check out my channel. But guys, ooh, that I don't know if you guys saw it, but on the bottom right, a bug just decided to cut right through my fence, a VW bug. So that's fun. Don't know why we have security then. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna jump into a bit of a cinematic just to look around and see all the cool stuff that we built here today and a little bit more interesting lighting, etc. But again, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you're having a great week. Peace. Alright guys, well thank you so much for visiting San Pedro. As always, my name is Badfish and this has been Gone Gaming. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. If you want to see some more City Skylines, check out my channel, and have a good week.